I'm back. So as promised from the break, these guys were going to look at some of the comments and answer some of those. So give the questions, give the answers. Here you go.
Yes. So the first one was why a secret group? And that one's simple because you don't want just anybody getting added to the group. You want them to have to be added by a friend that's already in the group. So I should point this out. We talked about this earlier, actually. Yep. Do not add anyone to a group without talking to them first. This is critical. This is bad for all of us in the profession. If people are getting spammed or added to groups without their permission, without a conversation, not only is it bad for your company, it's bad for all of us in the profession because Mark Zuckerberg is not going to like network marketers doing things like that, upsetting all the people on his website. Now, the other one is, how do you pay for this bachelor party? And I think it would be good to start.
You guys, I also need you to understand that I am a leader. I have a very big organization, and so paying for that wasn't complicated for me. Yeah. But take what I've done and figure out what you can do. So here's a if you're local in the area, maybe spend you can buy coloring books and you can brand it with your company, and then go tag daycares and teachers and that kind of thing, and offer them a classroom kit that is branded by your with your business card. If you're doing weight loss, they have exercise and they have eating healthy coloring books, and you can literally get them for like 5 cents each. And then you can brand them to yourself, and you could do the same exact thing. So I don't think the prize is what matters. I think it's getting the people through that content. I would do a number of things. If I had a skincare, give away a little skincare bag.
Yeah, give away some samples of the product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some free product. It doesn't have to be a $2,500
No, absolutely not.
It could be products.
Absolutely.
It could be anything small. And then reviews. Somebody wanted to know, where do you post those reviews?
Well, guys, if you go look at business pages. Go search go search wedding events. And then take a look when it comes up. You'll have groups, people, pages. Click on pages, and then take a look at all those pages and go figure out which one has reviews. If it has 4.6 stars on their thing, that's a page that allows you to do ratings and reviews. Yeah. So they're easy to identify.
Perfect.
Anything else?
No, I think that's good.
All right. Thanks again. We appreciate you both. You're awesome. Now, we have still an amazing 3 hours of content for all of you. I hope you're getting tremendous value. I know I am. I'm already sitting down with half of these people afterwards and saying we need to talk more because I got to up my game in a pretty dramatic way. So the next presenter coming up is a dear friend. He's been a trainer in this profession for how many years? 15 years, really? Ray said 55, 35, something like that, 85 years, 15 years, but I think he's been doing it for a lot longer than that with his organizations, et cetera. Generic trainer inside of our profession. He really knows what he's talking about. Please welcome Todd Falcone. Come on, Todd.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. What's up? How you guys doing? All right, so what I'm going to talk about right now is, first of all, video dominates on social media. Whether it's YouTube or Facebook or even Instagram, anywhere, video is a dominating thing. So what I want to talk about is video composition. So how do you put together a really cool looking video without being an expert, without having to take a big giant videography class? And for me, I'm mostly self-taught. I think I put my first video up at my river property, cleaning a fish, talking about leadership, probably, 13 yeyears ago. And it was grainy, awful video, terrible framing, terrible composition. So I want to talk about composition. So for example, I'm going to actually move for a second. I don't know how low I can get. Let's see here. So I see a lot of videos, for example, on YouTube and on Facebook where there's all this space up here, all this room, or they're way over here in the corner and they're talking on video and it's all of this wasted space. And I think one of the most important things, and this goes down to video composition 101. In fact, and by the way, I'm not shy about it. I take notes as well. I keep my notes with me. And when you're shooting video, don't be shy about the fact that you have notes with you. Most of my Facebook Lives, I have notes. Most of my seminars, I have PowerPoints and key notes in front of me that keep me on track. And I've got that right now, even though I'm only going to be talking for about 15 minutes. So the first thing I want to talk about video composition. And you're going to see as well how I don't really have amazing writing So I'll make sure you can read it. But number one is something called the rule of thirds. And this goes into photography and videography 101. And let me explain to you real quick what the rule of thirds is. If you look at your screen, what you do in the rule of thirds is you divide the screen into thirds, both horizontally as well as vertically. And you can see I'm way over here, but that's okay. So here's the thing. What you want to do is, if we're going to be shooting a video, for example, this is kind of an ideal position where my eyes would be on this. So let's see. Oh man. Told you I'm a really great artist. Look at that. Nailed it. I nailed it. So here's the thing. A lot of times I see people and their eyes are right here in the center, or, if you're doing something that's horizontal, again, you don't want to have your head way down here and all of this extra space. This is called headroom up here. And if there's too much room here, it just does not go well when it comes to basic video production. So what we want to do ideally when you're shooting a video is we want to have our eyes on this upper third right here. So your eyes could be in the upper third right here, or your eyes could be over here. So let me give you a quick example. Like if I was going to be shooting a blog post, I'm on this side, so I'm on one side of the frame, but you can see that this horizontal line here is going right across my eyes. It's approximately on this plane, this 1/3, right? And it's the same thing. I could do it over here and be speaking from this side, and then I have all this extra room here. So if you wanted to put whatever, like a whiteboard over here, if you're doing some kind of training or you're putting some kind of text up here, you could do that very easily. Or I could even be in the center, and I could still be in the center as long as I'm on that upper third. I don't want to be too high, and I don't want to be too low. If I'm down too low, it's just breaking very simple videography rules. So the first thing we want to think about, number one, is the rule of thirds. Number two, and yes, I'm looking at my notes, is lighting. You don't have to, and by the way, you can do this on no budget. You can do this without spending a dime. Your iPhone, this thing right here, you can shoot great video with this right here without spending a penny. Now, you could certainly invest in camera equipment and microphones. I do think if you want to really up your game, you can spend a few dollars, and you can certainly spend a lot of money, but it's not necessary in order to shoot really high quality video. One thing you have to be thinking about, so we're in this professional setting, and you don't see the background necessarily, but there's lights here, there's lights way over here, there's lights all around me. And see, even in the background behind me, there's no shadowing. So if there was a single light in front of me, and this is something you can do in your house, like most of the videos I shoot in my home office, sometimes I'm shooting downstairs. Sometimes, if you follow me, I live in Oregon, I live in the trees, so I love shooting outdoors. So, sometimes you can deal with the natural lighting, but before you ever even shoot, whether you're doing a Facebook Live or you're doing a recorded video that you're posting up on YouTube or that you're posting up on Facebook, you want to be thinking about the lighting. So I will literally put the camera up and I'll put it on a tripod. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, with holding a camera. I've done a lot of videos like this, but if you're all of a sudden you get really shaky, either out of nerves or because your arm's getting tired, the video quality is going to diminish. So ideally, throwing your camera on a tripod. I've taken my iPhone, I've leaned it up against a pillow, whatever you got to use. I mean, you can get these tiny little tripods that cost you $8 or $10, and that'll suffice. But you want to be thinking about lighting, and you want to think about, for example, if I was shooting outdoors, and I do a lot of shots like this on the fly, I do a lot of Facebook Lives like this, and a lot of times I am holding it and I'm not typically shaking very much, which is obviously a good thing. But what I'll do is I'll actually move around and I'll look at my face before I actually do the shot to make sure that the lighting on my face isn't too bright or isn't too dark or isn't too shadowy. And one of the things that's very, very disturbing for viewers is if right now you're watching me on video and I'm moving around and behind me you see giant shadows following me around, you'll end up having people focus on the shadows and not what you're presenting to that individual. So think about the rule of thirds. Number two, think about lighting. Number three, and this is really important, is your background. So, when I'm shooting in my home, I purposefully create backgrounds for my shots. So in my office, I have items in the background that are there on purpose. If there's for example, if there's a lamp in the background, the entire lamp is in the background, not a corner of it. So I don't want to have some little piece of something hanging out. Or for example, there might be a tree sticking out of my head. I've seen videos, before I understood and learned how to do this, I would shoot a video and literally I would have a tree like sticking out of my head, and it looked just odd. So people are like, hey, what's up with the tree coming out of your head? I never thought about, framing it. And this is also part of composition, is thinking about, the rule of thirds, number one. Number two is lighting. Number three is background. There's a lot of great opportunities for you to create a great video experience. So the background, what people are seeing behind you, is very important. One of the things, I'll lock my office door, because in one of the positions in my office, my kids come running into my office occasionally, and if I'm doing a Facebook Live, I don't need them bouncing around behind me. I know that there was something that went a little crazy on a Facebook Live with Ray yesterday, but we won't talk about that. We want to think, you got to be controlling your video environment. So if I'm shooting something that I really want to come across as a professional video, what I want to make sure is that there's no interruptions or distractions that take place in the background, which is going to take my viewer off of the point that I'm trying to make. And then number 4 is sound. So in most cases, if you're shooting with your iPhone or whatever your mobile device is, the sound quality is going to be pretty good. I would highly recommend grabbing a lavalier microphone. You can literally plug a lavalier microphone into this. You can get an extension. I can put it up on a pedestal in front of me. It'll run up through my shirt like I've got a lavalier microphone on here. And you'll notice, and I would even test this, shoot a video in whatever location you're in using the external mic on your phone, and then do a shot with a lavalier mic. You'll find that the quality is significantly increased, and the higher the quality video that you're producing with the lighting, with the composition, with the sound, is going to just make the overall impression that you're going to be making a lot better. And then number 5 is there are types of shots. And I want to talk about this very briefly. So types of shots, like for example, if we can go to the wider angle real quick, what this is doing is creating kind of like the beginning of the shot. Now if we can cut in real quick on the camera, so that's a little tighter shot, that's like a medium or a tighter shot. This would be done in post-production editing, which most of you, if you're doing a Facebook Live, you wouldn't have to worry about. But if you're shooting videos on YouTube, for example, and I've created most of my followers through video production. So I've been shooting videos now for over 12 years, I think. Started out on YouTube, and then when Facebook came out, I started taking those YouTube videos, posting them onto Facebook, put them onto my blog, put them onto Facebook. And that's one of the biggest ways that I've created a pretty significant following through all of my social media outlets, 140 or 50,000 people on my Facebook page. I don't know what's on my YouTube channel, Instagram, all of that stuff. A great majority of it has been because I've consistently been producing video content. And the video content that I produce is for a very specific audience. It's for you guys. It's for network marketers who are learning or wanting to be more successful in network marketing. So when I first started producing this stuff, I didn't know what I was doing. And one other thing I want to share with you that is for those of you that have a budget or go, hey Todd, I like the iPhone idea or I like my mobile device, that's great, but how can I shoot super high quality HD? And by the way, you can shoot pretty high quality HD video, and you can adjust the video settings when you're shooting on whatever mobile device that you're using. But one thing that these phones don't do that like a DSLR camera, DSLR is basically it's what they're shooting on right now, in fact, looks like a 35 millimeter camera where you can remove the lens and you can change the lenses out. This is something I learned a long time ago, and I'll just throw this in here, and you can just write this down. I don't know, actually, let me redo that. 1.8. Okay, what that is, and I'm talking about 1.8 aperture priority. Do I even know what that means? Not exactly. All I know is that the lens is either more open or more closed. I don't need to know the technical detail of what 1.8 actually means, and neither do you. But what it does do, and if you see any of my blog posts, whether they're shot indoors or they're shot outdoors, I shoot in aperture priority mode at 1.8 in all of my shots. And what that basically means is when I focus on me, I'm in absolute crystal clear focus, and anything that's behind me is blurred out. So a lot of times if I'm doing an outdoor shot, I'll go out down the street. I've got rivers all around where I live. I'll find a nice little creek shot, and the creek is like drizzling down behind me, and it's got this blurry, really rich, deep depth feeling that doesn't typically take place if you're shooting like with an iPhone. If I'm shooting with an iPhone, I'm in crystal clear focus, and everything behind me is also in crystal clear focus. So the cool thing about shooting in 1.8 aperture priority mode, if you're shooting with a DSLR camera, for those of you that want to up your game, It really creates a very, very rich look. So that's something to consider. So, all right, let's see here. What else do I want to cover? Oh, one other thing, and I'm going to totally shift gears. Just want to do a quick little composition thing, video composition for you guys, because video is so dominating on social media. Most of you guys are producing video. Oh, actually, you know what? I learned something last night from Fraser that I wanted to share with you, and I don't think he covered it today, so I'll cover it very quickly. A lot of people are scared to do video, and they're frightened to death to do lives. Facebook, oh my gosh, if you going live, holy smokes, that scares the you-know-what out of me. So one thing that you can do to practice, and I didn't even know this until last night, is you can go Facebook Live to only yourself. So you can actually use that. You can go onto your iPhone or whatever mobile device you're using, start a live, and you can choose the audience, public, friends only, or only you. And so you can practice that until you get comfortable with it a few times, because I understand it can be a little intimidating. I mean, right now we're live. What if I screw up? Holy smokes, I blow it in front of thousands of people. People think about that before they go on live video. So it's very important for you to, obviously, if you want to get comfortable doing this, to put yourself in the position of an actual live experience, and the fact that you can do a faux Facebook Live to only yourself, and if it doesn't go right, you can delete it and delete it and delete it until you feel comfortable with it, and then you can actually go live to a public audience. So that's all I'm going to say on the composition stuff. Now, I'm going to totally shift gears, and here's what I want to talk about for just 2 minutes. One of the things that's enabled me to be really successful over my lifetime as an entrepreneur, almost 29 years in the network marketing profession, has been connecting with human beings, being that guy that regularly connects with people when they least expect it. And with Facebook, it's so amazing because, we've got the Facebook Messenger, all these little green dots on the right side of the screen, which enable us to reach out to people and have conversations with them. So every single week on my Facebook page, I make it a point to reach out to people that I haven't talked to in a little bit, and just to say what's up. Like I may look at going through my news feed, I'll look at something that somebody said, and let's say I hadn't talked to Ray Higdon in 11 months, and it had been a while. I'll just go over there and I see something that he and Jessica did at a recent, they just moved in their house, and I sent him a message. I go, oh, I see you just moved in your house. What's up, brother? And I would start a conversation with him, and what that does is it refreshes a relationship that might not have necessarily been real fresh, and it's just something, as network marketers, we want to be in the habit of staying connected to people when we're not doing business with them. A lot of times, if we're reaching out to somebody, whether it's through social media or anything else for that matter, and we're only calling somebody when we want something, we're not likely going to get it. So if you can get yourself in the habit of being that connector, that person that stays in contact with someone, even when you're not doing business, even when it's just to say hi, to say what's up. I did that with Rob Sperry like 3 months ago, and in fact, he ended up commenting it on Facebook. He was like, oh my gosh, Todd Falcone called me, and he didn't even want anything. He just wanted to say what's up. And so if I were to call Rob and say, look, Rob, I've got a business venture that I'm doing, or I would love to joint venture with you, or if I were to ultimately ask him for something, would he likely respond more favorably if I had maintained contact? The answer is absolutely yes, he would. So make it a point when you're on your Facebook page to go through your news feed and make regular contacts with people that maybe you haven't talked to. We have a lot of, quote, friends on Facebook that we haven't really had a conversation with. So I will typically, in fact, there's a lot of people that I have on Facebook on my personal friend list that I've never had a conversation with. So every week I go through, I start a little green dot messenger chat, go back and forth maybe for a couple minutes. And I've also harvested, I guess that's not even the proper word, I've acquired over 1,000 phone numbers of friends on Facebook just by having conversation through Messenger. And here's how I do it. If you want to get somebody's phone number on Facebook, that they're your Facebook friend, but you don't really know them yet, I'll engage them in conversation. I'll say, hey, John, hey, I want to make sure that you have my personal phone number and my email. Here's my cell phone number. Here's my email address. What's yours? And that whole law of reciprocation, I've never had a single person say, hey, I'm not going to give you my phone number. That's just too weird. Because I already gave that person my personal contact information, and they always respond in kind. So it's an opportunity then for you to take that conversation offline now that you actually have their phone number. So I just think it's a really important thing for all of us as network marketers to make sure that we're maintaining contact with our network, with these people that we're communicating with, and do so not just by likes and comments and shares, but also by fully engaging with people and having conversations with those individuals. So that's all I've got for right now. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and we'll see you. I don't know who's coming up next. We'll see. All right, Eric's coming back up.
Tony.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was talking to the people over there. We do a little bit in inside network marketing. Our video where we're just right in the center. I think doing this a little bit more, moving to the side. Like even now, he's trying to keep me in the center. No, I'm trying to go over here on purpose. I'm trying to be off. I'm trying to do the rule of thirds. You're messing it up, man. Anyway, Alex helps with all of this different stuff, and he understands all the different apertures that he was talking about over there. Like I don't understand at all. So we're getting our next person wired up. Yeah. We good? Oh yeah, we're gonna flip. Can you use what flip chart? All right. Ready? The one, the only, the power behind the throne, Jessica Higdon. Welcome her out.
Thank you.
Press
Thank
it,
you.
sister.
Thanks so much. How you guys doing? How you feeling? It's a delay, but let me see how you're feeling. Maybe we can get the chat up here, do a little stretch, little power move. We're at what, hour 6 or something? So this has been awesome. The content. Eric and Marina, thank you guys so much. Make sure you comment and thank them. So today I want to cover some things that I don't think have been shared yet, and that'll kind of wrap things up for you and make it easy for you to go take action after this entire summit. This entire summit has been amazing. You're learning so much content. You're gonna learn so much more after me as well. And just to be real with you guys, when I was first building my business, Facebook was new. We didn't have lives. We didn't have, video wasn't a huge thing. People were doing it, but it wasn't a huge thing on Facebook. And so I built my business. I was 21 years old. I had no business experience. I was really new, and I was intimidated by the whole thing and very low self-confidence. Came on there with no brand, no platform, nothing, and just wanted to build a business and make it happen. And at the time, I was working at the makeup counter full-time. I was going to school full-time, and I was doing a wedding business part-time on weekends. So I had already committed about 90 to 100 hours a week of my time, which is a lot. And then on top of that, wanting to build a network marketing business. And so I had to build it in a very short amount of time per day, and with pure just hustle, just reaching out to people, prospecting on social media, putting content out there. But that's not how I started. That's not how I made my first $10,000. My first $10,000 month was made through just pure hustle on social media and prospecting. So I want to speak to that piece and also let you know that if you do the lives, if you do the videos and all the things that people were talking about that are available to you, your life will be 10 times easier than mine was. It'll make it faster for you. It'll help you. And lives, yes, they can be scary, but people expect them to be raw. They expect, you to screw up and you to just be real. And they like that. And it makes it actually a lot easier. So what I'm going to share with you is a minute-by-minute daily routine that you can do that if you just hit this bare minimum each and every day, you will absolutely 100% see results. What we try and do on social media, just really creating a concept for you, what we want to do on social media is take millions of cold people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, whatever your audience is, millions of cold market people, and turn them into warm, right? This is network marketing, so we want to build our network. So just think about if you reach out to 10 people a day, that's over 3,650 people per year. So think about this more long-term. When I came into the network marketing profession, I thought to myself, you know what? If it takes me 10 years to be making a residual 6-figure income, who cares? Because what's my alternative here? I'm gonna give it my all, I'm gonna hustle my face off, but if it takes me 10 years to really figure it out, who cares? I don't have another alternative. Versus, hey, next week I hope that I get 500 sales. You've heard everybody talk about this, about how you have to really give that impact. Bob talked about that a lot. And so if you just start looking at it as, hey, I'm gonna take a bunch of cold people and turn them into warm and ask the right questions, ask the question of getting them into my business or buying my product, then great. Over the course of a year, I could have a huge business, right? So let's assume, for me, I was working 90 to 100 hours a week between school and work and everything. Let's assume that you're busy. I'm a mom. I know how busy that is. There's a lot of moms out here in the audience. So let's assume you're a mom, you're a dad, you're a parent, you work a regular 9 to 5 job, right? So you have to get your daily routine, your daily social media routine in the morning, before you go to work, and at night after you come back, right? So what's the first thing you're gonna do? And I have notes here too, just like Todd. So let's say you start your day at 7:30, right? You wake up, you have to leave the house at 8:30, you wake up at 6:37, you get your workout in, whatever, you eat your breakfast. 7:30, you log into your Facebook account, okay? From 7:30 to 7:40, 10 minutes. One of the biggest questions that I get asked is, Jess, I've been prospecting, I've been reaching out to people, and it's taking me so long to find these people. I've been trying to find people for 30 minutes. Time yourself. Don't do that. Literally set an alarm and say, okay, for the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna do this activity. So this is where you're gonna search for groups, for pages. You heard an amazing, incredible training with John and Angel on groups. You're gonna search for these groups and fan pages that you resonate with. Eric talked about narrowing down your niche, right? Goat yoga, puppy yoga. That's actually a thing. I've recently seen that, funny enough. So you're gonna narrow down your niche and find these groups, start searching, 10 minutes. Just look for a bunch of different groups that you can be a part of. 2 is a good number to start with. 2 groups that you can go into, start learning about, start understanding, preferably that are product-based, right? So if you have skincare, then maybe you wanna find a group that's like an acne support group or something like that, or wrinkle-free group or whatever, something that relates to your product that's specific that you can start reaching out to people and learning about them, okay? So that's only 10 minutes. For now, let's say pick 2 groups that you really wanna get involved with and reach out to, okay? So then from 7:40, and of course, just relate this to your own life. So I want you to literally time this, because seriously, I see people that spend way too long looking for people, reaching out to people, and not enough time actually getting into action and doing what they need to do. And this is what I would do too, is I would time myself. Like I literally had 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night. So from 7:40 to 7:55, post in these groups. And I don't have to tell you what to post, but just find, do a live, do a video, do a recipe, do something that's purely of value. They talked all day about this, value, value, value. Start your posts. Post in these groups, get people kind of looking at what you're up to, what you're doing, and get people commenting on your stuff. This should mention nothing about your product, nothing about your service, just pure value and pure impact. How can I help the people in these groups today? So just start posting, right? Then from 7:55 to 8:10, not rocket science here, guys. You're gonna reach out to 5 to 10 people within those groups, within those pages. Here even, you can reach out to your friends, right? How many of you that are listening here today have over 100 people on your Facebook pages, profiles, whatever, that you haven't reached out to? I'm sure there's a lot of you that even have over 1,000. So sometimes we forget, we're so focused on getting new, that we forget we have people that are already sitting there that may be curious about what we're doing and what we have, especially if you follow some of the tips that you've learned here today, that you can reach out to. Okay, so let me tell you what you're gonna say to these 5 to 10 people. Now, I like to give formulas because, like everybody mentioned here, you want to be you. Bob said, if I'm giving you permission to be you, right? That's what his talk was about, is be yourself. Don't try and be somebody else. You don't have to follow an exact script if it's not how you usually talk or whatever. I like to give formulas. And so the first message that you send out should be something very simple. It should be their first name. You should always use their first name. Why? Because it's personal, okay? Then you should tell them why you're messaging them. Then some excitement or a connection piece. And then end with a question. And you heard some great ones today, right? So this is kind of my first message formula, and people ask, should this be an audio? Should this be a text? Should this be a video? Angel loves video. I think I heard Jordan and I know that John use a lot of audio. So I'm going to tell you, use what's right for you. Like Angel said, test out Facebook, see what you like, see what's vibing with you, see what your people respond to best. Like for me, I actually still prefer text. Ray now loves audio. If I get an audio message, I probably won't listen to it for a week. Just saying. But if I see a quick text message or something that's text, and some of you who have sent me audio messages, I know that you know this, I won't get back to you right away because it's just, I got a lot going on. But some people prefer text, some people prefer video. Do whatever works for you, okay? And just follow this formula. So it's something like this. Hey, John, I'm reaching out to you because I noticed that you posted about your weight loss journey. Oh my gosh, I can totally relate to that. And I'm so excited for you. I'm excited to see what you post about. By the way, do you mind if I ask you what you've tried in the past? So that would be kind of a customer-based question. Do you mind if you mind if I ask you what you've tried in the past? See what they've tried in the past. Brian Fryer talked about this, right? And then go to, I have written down what Brian said, which I thought was so awesome. Why didn't that work for you? Find out some information. Why didn't that work for you? And then how much is that costing you each month, would you say? And just kind of frame the conversation so when you go into the follow-up, you have a premise there, right? You're going to get more results because you're going into the follow-up. So that's more for on the customer side. On the business side and the prospecting side, when I would reach out to people, usually, now I'm going to give you, what do they call it in the movie world? Hollywood creativity, right? Or whatever they call it. I'm going to give you the permission to use your own voice, use your own language patterns, and use your own questions. But this is what I would say. And if you want to say it a little differently, that's totally up to you. I'm just telling you the 4 questions that I used to get people into the opportunity or to take a look at it. And those 4 questions were, what do you do? How long have you been doing that for? Oh, it sounds like you must love it. Because usually if they answer, how long have they been doing that for? It's usually 10 years, 15 years, whatever. Oh, you must love it, huh? That's awesome. And then they would respond usually with, well, it pays the bills, or no, it's going okay, or whatever. And then I'd say, well, have you ever considered doing anything else? So those 4 questions again, what do you do? How long have you been doing it for? Oh, you must love it, huh? And then have you ever considered doing anything else? And leading with those 4 questions, framing it with some chit chat, it got them to the place where I could ask the closing question, and we'll talk about that in the follow-up piece as well. So at this point, you've done your minimal amount of activity in the morning, right? So you go off to work, you start your day. If you want to do some work on your lunch break, fantastic. You come home, and let's say it's 5 o'clock, you drive home, there's traffic, you eat dinner. So at 6:30, you're jumping back on. Oh, my marker. Let me get a different marker here. At 6:30, you're jumping back on. And now, instead of posting in a group, people are home, they're engaged, they're liking what you're seeing, what they're seeing from you, and so you're going to post on your profile or your fan page, or both, right? And this can be from 6:30 to 6:45. Give yourself like 15 minutes if you're gonna do a live video. Again, I did not have live video. I would post some content here and there, like an edited video. My first video, it took me, I think, 24 takes to actually get it posted and up. So the cool thing about live is, like Fraser was saying, you can practice a few times, do it yourself, get out there and do it. We had a client that I had pushed to do his very first live, and he was scared, he was nervous. Afterwards, he ran up to me and was like, oh my gosh, I just did my very first live. And I asked him, I said, how was it? And he said, you know, Jess, actually, it really wasn't that scary. It was actually so much easier than doing an edited video because people expect it to be perfect. And so you being raw and real in these things, I highly suggest doing that at your 6:30 p.m. time frame. And so post on your profile something of value. They've talked about it all day. And then from 6:45 to, I would say, about 7:30 or so, this is going to be your longest area that you spend your time, is your follow-up. And you've heard some amazing trainings on follow-up. Here's the line that I used when I was following up with these people. So I would get the information based on either a customer or a business builder. I would learn some more about them by asking the right questions. And then, very similar to Brian's closing line, I would just say, hey, based on what you've shared with me, you may want to take a look at what I do, or you may want to take a look at this certain product. It may or may not be a fit for you. If you'd like, I could send you some information. If not, totally fine, no big deal. We have to get in the habit of asking that question at the right time. Whether it's through audio, video, on the phone, through Messenger, whatever, we have to get in the habit of asking that question. The last thing that I want for you guys is to spend 6 months in rapport land and talking with them back and forth and just knowing every one of their kids' names, their dog's name, where they vacation, but not actually asking the question to make the money and get the business. So plain and simple, guys, if you do this every single day, which is really what I did for 12 to 18 months, every single day. I did some content. I reached out to people every day. I didn't have a lot of fancy stuff with groups. I didn't, although now that you know this, I'll tell you, it'll get you there faster. It'll get you, more people faster for sure, and it makes it easier for you. But until you get that going and you get that momentum and you know what you're doing and it's like second nature to you, do that in the background, do this in the foreground where you're actually reaching out to people and prospecting. And here in step 2, this could be your own group. Once you start your own group, posting in your own group with your own prospects. Until you get to that point, follow this routine each and every day, and you'll have great results. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. Show Eric and Marina some love on the feed for sure. Network Marketing Pro page some love. And you guys have an amazing day. And I think I'm going to bring Eric back up.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can we have that?
Yes.
Jessica Higdon, isn't she awesome? Are you going to use, Whitney, are you going to use the sheets? Will you come clean this up for me then? Giving some structure is important. Providing an ability for some people like stuff like this. Some people don't like structure. For me, I think having a template to be able to know what to do and fill up your time efficiently and effectively is really, really useful. Now, that's a guideline. It's not perfect every day, right? It's just kind of a guideline, and you'll adjust as you go. All right. Now, the next presenter, this young lady, she's really old now. She turned 30 years old recently, so she's 30-something years old. She's technically closer to 40 than she is 20. So she has been with her company how many years? Almost 5 years. She's recruited about 360 people personally. Of that, she's grown her organization to over 350,000 people around the world. She has, and if you're around network marketing for any period of time, you understand the challenges of developing significant lines of sponsorship with leadership in those lines. Some companies where you build 2, some you build 3, some you build 4 or 5. If you're really, really strong, and I think most of these people, most of watching would agree, 7 would be really, really strong. Well, she has more than 15 significant lines of sponsorship with strong, powerful leadership in all of those different organizations. So not only is she recruited, not only has she grown that team, but she has replicated leadership. She's done that through a simple, fundamental, daily method of operation that she's going to be sharing with you, among other things. Whitney, husband, get over here, girl. Take it away. Oh, sorry. I'll knock you right over.
Knock me out.
Bam.
My hair's still put. Whew, okay, so yay. Hi guys, I'm Whitney Husband. I want to give you all a little backstory as to why I chose to build my business in such a simple aspect. So I was in a company, I didn't know it was network marketing for about 1.5 years. And I was basically just a product user. Knew I was a distributor. I was in like one Facebook group, so that's where I kind of was introduced to the social media aspect of this business. But I never found any actual training. I didn't know about network marketing, and 6 years ago there wasn't a whole lot of generic outside stuff anyways, I don't think. So when I joined my company, I knew that I wanted the people like me to not fall through the cracks and to have some kind of support to where they could build their business even if they didn't have someone helping them. So as we know, it's great to have a successful upline. I mean, that's an awesome thing to have, but that doesn't define you in your business. What defines you is how you can build your business and how you can help others. And so when I started, I just wanted to be able to give my team a tool and a platform and resources that they could have and they could go to if they were hungry and they were willing to search and find the information, they would have something. So I kind of started with, I know Jess kind of touched on it a little bit, but so a DMO. And my DMO is going to be extremely simple. So you're going to take the things that you learned today. You're going to take the prospecting, you're going to take the marketing, you're going to take all these things that you learned today, and what you're going to decide is actually how many people or what you need to do every day. So this is just an example. Whether you're going for, you're just building a small business right now or you're building a big business, it's going to kind of determine how many people you're going to talk to. So super simple, you're 5 people a day that you are connecting with. You want to add. So you're going to have to meet people, which we can talk a little bit about how we are meeting people. Can y'all read this? Is this legible? Because I'm not the best writer in the world. Okay, so we'll talk about how we are going to meet people and to bring them into our workout. So you want to add 5 people. You need to message 5 new people. You could comment online. Networking, basically. And then here are another 5 team members. So connecting with 5 important people of your team. Maybe you only have 5 people on your team. Maybe you've sponsored 5 people. Maybe there's 5 people under a leg you want to talk with that day. Just making sure you're getting your face in front of other people. Not everyone has the time to talk to 20 to 100 people a day. So keeping it simple and being able to talk to a few people a day is what is really, really important in how I teach my team. So you're talking to 5 people, you're talking to 5 team members, and here's the really important. 5 follow-ups. So your 5 follow-ups, you're going to have your follow-ups of customers. You need to have follow-ups of conversations that you've had about the business, follow-ups of just some like networking, some friends that you have met, things like that. So 5, 5, 5, 5. You're gonna go back to the prospecting, so you're gonna offer the op. You're gonna offer the opportunity. So you're just keeping it simple. Picking a number, how many people you need to talk to. You're gonna use these systems of things that people have talked to you all day and taught you and how to follow up, the things you need to say, how you're prospecting. They have that training, and so, but you have to pick what you're going to do and just make it to where it's a part of your daily life. So I don't need a printed out DMO anymore. I know in the back of my head, it's engraved inside of me. I know before I go to bed, it hits me that I do these things. And if I didn't do these things that day, I can't go to sleep. So I know that they need to be done, and I'm doing them. So meeting into the people that you're gonna meet into your warm market. I know there's been the huge joke today. Everyone thinks it's hilarious. There's this thing called Bumble BFF, okay? It's a new thing. It's been the big joke. You can meet people within the mile radius that you have set, the age that you have set. You can meet people of the same sex as you, okay? This is not dating. This is meeting people. So all you're doing, making connections, using Facebook groups, things like this, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever you're doing to meet people, you have to be bringing people into your warm market. So when I started my business, I used Facebook groups. And now I do all kinds of things. I meet people on Instagram. I meet people on here. I meet people, through networking in interest groups and stuff like that. And so meeting people and bringing people into your warm market, because everyone says, I don't have anybody to talk to. Well, if you have a goal to go out and meet 5 people every day, you're always going to have someone to talk to. So I want to kind of roll into, I should probably move this. Okay, this has been huge for my business. This has been every bit of every single thing that has grown for our business is the virtual party, 100%. So from the get-go, we have taken the home party idea. It served its purpose. I know for many years, many people in here, they built huge organizations through home parties, through that home meetings, or whatever you want to call it, for many years offline. And so when I joined this business, having a home party was not an option for me at all. And so we have evolved the old party into the online. So event or group, that's how it starts. You start the event or the group with a host. Okay? So you have your host, you start the event or group. Now, the idea of the virtual party, and I don't use the word virtual party because that runs people away. This is just the simple form of all of it. The idea of hosting and having virtual parties on a regular basis is that you are able to meet new people and bring them into your warm market. In our virtual parties, we are selling products. We are bringing value. But it's okay if no product is ever sold, because if your host added 5 to 25 people, you now have 5 to 25 people that you can go meet over this span. We did ours for 10 days. Over this span of time to meet and bring into your now warm market online. So my goal has always been every single person that my hostess connects me with, I bring onto Facebook. I give them enough value, I connect with them within that 10 days, the hostess validates me to where they trust me and they want to come into and be a part of my personal Facebook. And then they're gonna see my branding and they're gonna see my marketing and they're gonna see my lifestyle and all those things we talked about. Then they're gonna see all these things. So this is a way to really bring people into your now warm market. So we have our hostess. She's added her friends. We want them to welcome the guest And we also want to intro ourselves. That way people have a feeling of you. And obviously the best way to do like your intro yourself would be a Facebook Live where they can interact with you. You've heard ideas of how to get them really excited. Maybe you have a weight loss story, or you have a skincare story, or you have some kind of travel story, whatever it might be. It's you want to intro yourself and really show what you're all about and bring them a good story that's going to make them want to stay for the 10 days. So you're going to do that. And then in your intro, it's really important that you are, you're a exciting person that they want to follow. I'm bringing people back to me. So when we do this, and when we host these parties for other people, a couple of things happen. Sometimes the host will be like, oh, no, you're not getting all of my friends as customers, I'm signing up. And so a lot of times, before that party is even over, we've already signed the hostess up because she wants the sales and she wants the recruits. So a lot of times that happens. Other times we will have someone in the party that sees the opportunity and they see the product and they say, oh, no, like I want to be a part of this. So that's the second thing that can happen. And then the third thing that can happen is obviously you get a new customer or you get more into your warm market. So through the party, through all that, it's all about the connection and the value. So in ours, we are selling a product. We are talking product, we are selling a product, but it's not all product and it's not all everything. I teach my team to promote the hero product, whatever that might be, the flagship product for your company, whatever it is, promoting that product, and then also promoting, your few favorites, your handful of favorites. We're not here to overwhelm them. We're not here to spam them. We want you to promote things in a way that you're going to be solving a problem and bringing value. Again, all the things that you've heard today, but connecting with the guests, bringing them value, and again, that's just going to draw them back to it. So it's all just a full circle. This is a full circle for our business, and it's extremely duplicatable. It's very simple. And then on the end, after you run these and do them for yourself, something you want to have is you want to create yourself a mock party. This is where efficiency comes in. When you're able to create yourself a mock party, you can run these parties a lot faster. So Facebook has really been giving us some really cool new features within groups. I know just today we saw that the schedule option is now available. So I get it, you're busy. I know me and busy mom scheduling out, my posts in advance. I recommend posting 2 to 3 times a day within these groups. You want to keep your audience engaged. So you now have scheduling options, you now have tagging options, so you can give different topics. There's just so many different ways to fancy up your group. And so you can create yourself a mock party, and not only will that help you have a system and have a structure to keep these flowing on a regular basis. But as you build your team, what we do is we're actually able to add our team into the mock party. So when somebody signs up, say somebody signs up from a business and they're like, I'm ready to run right now, all you've got to do is get them into this mock party and they can go through and see what kind of content they can post. Not a copy and paste kind of thing. I highly recommend people, tweak it, make it your own, whatever. But this gives you an idea and a basis of what to do. So it kind of goes back to where I began. And when I began, I didn't ever have any resources. And so this gives people a really simple, a quick start resource to really build their business to those first couple of ranks. And for me, the foundation rank in the company is really important. And so this system is super simple, and it'll really build you and your team members into that foundation rank. I'm good.
You good? Whitney Husband, thank you, sister.
Yep.
You rock. All right, we're going to keep going because we have a lot of content, and we want to try and see if we can finish by 6 p.m. Pacific, which is 1 hour and 48 minutes from right now. So we have one presenter that could not be here today. She was traveling. So she created a special 12-minute presentation on Insta Stories that we recorded, so you can watch it right now. Check out Haley Hobson on Insta Stories.